What's going on, you guys? Jay here and welcome back to the channel. So don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you get an opportunity on the way out, drop a comment. It's really going to help us out here on the channel. We're so close to hitting 17k at this stage. It's really going to help us out. Now, I'm sorry for the lapse in content. I've got a bit of a predicament going on with my right ear. I seem to have ruptured my eardrum at some point over the weekend, and it's just been a series of unfortunate events since then. I've been bleeding from my ear. I don't know if anybody's been through this before. You'll know what I'm going through right now, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst adversary. So my pitch in my voice, it might go up, it might go down. I might even sound a little bit different, and it's just because I can't really hear myself, and it really for me feels like someone's just holding hands over my ears all of the time. So let's get on with everything. Let's try to get you up to date. But like I said, just bear with me and we will get through it. I want to start with the most important stuff here at the beginning of the week for myself, which is going to be those LFG reserves. Everybody's talking about what they would like to see happen with the remainder of the USTC and the Lunar Classic coins. We've also got people that are quite interested in the BTC as well, yet we have absolutely zero claim over the BTC, whereas the Terraform cryptocurrency assets, we do have a legitimate claim over. But again, so many different points of view, and this is a really interesting situation where if your validator is effectively of the belief that these assets shouldn't be burned, they're not doing their job. They're not going out. They're not doing the research. They're not going through the court documents, because effectively, right, if you put it down to a bite and a crunch, you say to yourself, they've stated that all keys, okay, that pertain to wallets holding Terraform crypto assets must be burned or destroyed. So regardless of there being a confirmation of us actually being allowed to burn those assets, right, there's confirmation that those keys, which would enable the access to those wallets to be able to use those assets, let's say, have been burned. So the SEC themselves shouldn't even be able to access any of the wallets that pertain to Terraform cryptocurrency assets. And that's really why we've seen the liquidation of the AVAX, the BNB, and the USDC, and not the USTC and the Lunar Classic, which do pertain to Terraform cryptocurrency assets. An interesting thing here over on LFG is the flippening that just happened, where the value of the BTC now completely outweighs the value of the USTC. Last time we checked in, USTC overall for the LFG reserve was valuing in at around $44 million. That's back down now to around $30 million. So you can see how much that's fluctuating at the moment. I really don't think we're going to see anything happen with these funds unless we as a community decide to ourselves, we're going to do something. I know, long pause, dramatic, right? Well, everybody's being a little bit dramatic at this point, and they're simply refusing to go in and just keeping themselves up to date with the ongoings of the court. I've been involved in this since docket number 1, and I mean, there's far more dockets out there than 883 dockets. In fact, there's probably about another 2,000 dockets spread out across different websites, different cases, the criminal case, the civil case, so on, so forth. But as a validator, you have a duty to keep yourself absolutely 100% up to date with absolutely everything. And what we see all too often is validators not keeping themselves up to date and then going out and really trying to put the idea out there that we must wait. We must wait for all of this to be over. We must wait for the debitors to have received what they're going to be receiving out of this situation. And like I said, there's a lot of court documents that are floating around, and the date itself has now been moved to around Q3, well, let's say Q2 to Q3 of 2025. So that's going to be a long time that you're going to be waiting. And essentially, we don't want to be waiting that long. We're running a lot of risks. Not only do we run the risk of the SEC possibly going backwards on themselves to liquidate all of these assets, right? We run the risk of somebody still having access to the LFG reserves, someone still having a seed phrase, some way to access those funds. Sadly, you, I, and everybody else do not know the ins and outs behind LFG, but what we do know is what's been presented in those court documents. Now, I'm going to leave links to the dockets that I've shown you there, so you guys can get yourselves 100% up to date. Something I'm seeing a lot at the moment is, when are we going to be putting the proposal up for the burn in the same way that you burnt the Anchor and Mirror Protocol assets, Jay? And my honest response to everybody is, I only have a certain amount of time, money, energy, and resources, and I've spent so much of my own money on development of different contracts, working with development teams, getting different stuff done, and we don't build, develop, deploy for profit. We've always done it to better the entire ecosystem. And essentially, Frag did 25% of the work, I've done around 25%, and it's now down to a development team to take all of those little bits and pieces put together and actually develop, test, and then get ready for deployment. And the deployment would therefore be a chain upgrade, and that chain upgrade would perform the exact same burn that we saw with the mirror, and then flicking here to the Anchor Protocol assets. So these are going to be your key indicators. Obviously, I understand there's a lot of people that want to see me just go ahead and get these LFG assets burned. And what I would say to everybody once again is, I would love to do that, and I would love to keep pursuing stuff like that. But again, I only have so much time, energy, money, and resources, and I'm spread very thin. I'm spread so thin to the point of not being able to work on my own layer 2 project being Pengs, and then my other layer 2 project being Project Remedy. So I really want to be able to give you guys the best I can give you, but at the same time, I have to put my foot down, and I have to simply say to everybody, if your validator is not doing anything and you're delegating with someone who isn't putting up signaling proposals, isn't going through and finding another 8 wallets with 4% of the USTC supply to burn afterwards, and has not gone in and burned Mirror and Anchor Protocol assets on top of creating a native DApp wallet that's listed on, Android and Apple stores, there's only so much I can do. You need to look to these other validators that you're possibly delegating with and pester them and say to them, when are you going to start doing something? When are you going to get off of your backside, instead of just sitting there talking, hyping things up and saying how great everything's going to be and look how good things are going? Actually do something. Actually go ahead, okay, put some money together, get a development team, and get this chain upgrade done and dusted. The majority of the work is done. At this point, I would love to go ahead and do it. I really would, but I have to put my foot down, and I have to simply say to the overall community, I have done so much for this chain at this point. If other people don't start doing stuff, well, then the bar is set very low. It's set so low that a validator would join this ecosystem knowing they don't have to do anything, knowing they can just pretend to fund a development team, or they can simply run a podcast on X. That's going to be the end result. You're going to be left with validators who don't chase up this 1.86 billion USTC. Instead, keep telling you to leave it and keeping you running around in circles, because that's beneficial for them. They don't have to do anything. You're running around in circles and nothing will ever progress. Now, with all of this being said, I do want to see these funds burn. I will vote yes to any chain upgrade that has been developed, tested, and then is ready for deployment, and everything has been T's crossed and I's dotted. These are really important points, and again, this is all boiling down to reading those court documents. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think there's a validator out there that possibly is going to step up and do another chain upgrade and burn like we burned the Mirror and Anchor Protocol assets? If so, who is that validator? Let me know. I'm thinking about starting the podcast up again, but working it around all of the different like layer 2 projects, working it around the meme coins, and yeah, doing it on X, broadcasting it on YouTube, and just trying to get all of the projects that are on chain shown in as many places as possible. Something we find time and time again is the biggest barrier for a lot of these coins, L2 projects, is coverage. It costs money with a lot of these high up YouTubers, and essentially you're never going to reach those levels unless somebody helps you pave, okay, the ground below you. But that's what I'm going to hopefully try to do. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know how the sound is now, guys. I am set up in a new studio. Like I said, I'm not very well. I've got a ruptured eardrum and I'm just trying to do my best at the moment. I'm sorry for the lapse in content. And yeah, just stay safe, guys. Stay humble, stay aware. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.